Hi, I'm Alan Ross, and we are at Distributech 2025. We've got interviews with thought leaders, and we'd love for you to see what we've done here. Hey, thanks for joining us. My next guest is Jay Shekelton, and yes, he is related to the Shekelton that you've read about. But that's right, sir. Just a name.
Yes.
Jay, thank you so much for joining us. You're the president of HJ Companies?
That's correct.
Okay, we're going to talk about HJ Companies in a little bit. Let's talk about you. How did you get in the power industry and why? I mean, it's a tough industry.
It's a tough industry, but it's actually a family business. My grandfather was in the business as a manufacturer's representative. My father started working for him when he was 9 years old. Believe it or not, he'd come
Child
labor's law, yeah. He actually would come back from school, go in the basement, and take orders from customers. St. Louis at the time had two large transformer manufacturers, Maloney Electric and Wagner Electric. Our grandfather called on them and sold them lots of product. And so they grew their rep agency through the years. They created a line of products of castings and connectors in 1962, and from Torrington, Connecticut. Great quality, they never delivered on time. So in order to keep their reputation of only delivering good products, what they ended up doing is telling their customers to stop buying from them. They went to all their customers and said, you got to stop buying from us, we're going to get you in trouble. So they got rid of this line of castings. My dad, who was 24, 25 at the time, convinced my grandfather, who was in his late 60s, had him later in life, to basically start up another company. So they started buying castings, quickly learned that they couldn't buy castings and they were machining them. So they started a foundry. So when I joined HJ, 40 some odd years ago, full time, we had 32 employees. We have 900 now.
Oh, wow.
So we've just always gone with the motto of taking care of the customer, doing, an honest day's work for an honest dollar, and it's resonated with people. So we've continued to grow, and we've got a great team of people. So
we're going to come back to HJ in a little bit, but that's a pedigree. When you talk about a family business, as grandfather and father, and I love the pedigree that says they made a great product, but they couldn't deliver on it.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't help.
It doesn't help. No, you're not a good supplier if you don't deliver.
I love that point, too, about we're going to get you in trouble if you keep buying from us. Anyway, let's talk about the industry, because obviously you've seen a lot of change in the industry.
Yes.
And I would surmise that we have had more change in the last 5 years than we had in the 50 previous.
Oh, my God.
Talk a little bit about what is changing in the industry and where it's brought us to today.
Well, I think a lot of what I've seen is in one time or another, a lot of the transformer manufacturers were not making much money. There was overcapacity in the industry. And now all of a sudden, with the technology that's out there, the electrification of cars, the charging stations, the AI, data centers, the demand for electricity is just skyrocketing.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of people investing a lot of money into improving their facilities, expanding their facilities. We have a lot of offshore things happening where a lot of, manufacturers offshore are bringing their products into the States where they weren't really doing that in the past. Wow. So now they're doing it. So, but we've seen a really big interest in larger transformers. The single phase pads and poles are, down right now, unfortunately, but they're down right now. The larger transformers are doing much better.
Right.
So we're seeing a lot of people invest in new technologies as well. The data collection, the transformers and lines to analyze, with the solar industry and people being able to feed back into the system has changed a lot. The solar fields and the wind farms have changed a lot. The energy created from a solar and wind farm application is a lot different than anything from gas and coal.
Yeah,
that's right. So it's people have had to do some redesign of their products to actually be successful and cut down on all the interruptions.
There's a we used to have a pretty consistent load profile. It's not true anymore. Load profiles are odd across the board. Yeah, dropped it all.
Well, you go to a wind farm or a solar, you go from 0 to 110% load, immediately
Back to zero.
back to zero again. So, we've seen our customers having to redesign their transformers to accommodate this
now
for the utilities. And in turn, we've had to redesign a lot of our products that have worked forever and ever in the standard, utility configuration. All of a sudden, they weren't working like they should have been. So we had to work as a team together with the utilities and the OEMs and ourselves to redesign products for the industry.
So the old Con Edison or Edison plant at Pearl Street, direct current.
Yes.
We went away from it. Everything was AC. We're now going back to some direct current. They were saying, well, why don't we just do direct current as a microgrid? So the whole AC/DC argument that they all had, Tesla had, and Edison had, and Westinghouse is back, and that's what the utilities are facing. That's what they're having to deal with, all of that.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's excellent. What are some of the other issues that utilities are dealing with, other than, because that brings up its own set of problems?
Yes,
right?
it does.
There are other problems. You mentioned it about we think explosive load growth is 8%. Well, it's an industry that's not been growing.
No.
Flat for years, and now we got an 8% spike. That's a hockey stick.
It is, definitely.
Yeah. In Georgia, we have a Southern company says they have an 8% load growth. We have a new nuclear plant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just came online.
Yeah.
First one in 30 years.
Yes.
It's sold out.
Oh, yeah. It's unbelievable.
Because of the AI distribution centers in North Atlanta, AI centers in North Atlanta, the data centers. So every utility is going through something they have not experienced before.
The nuclear argument, I think, is coming around again. People are starting to see the benefits of the nuclear. I was in Europe last year. I go to Europe. We have a lot of customers there. If you bring up the nuclear, it's almost like bringing up a taboo subject. Yeah. People don't want to talk about it, except France, right? I mean, France, it's gotten all their nuclear.
Germany got rid of it.
We got more, but it's a great, in my opinion, it's a great alternative to what we're doing today. And, it's been very safe. In Missouri, we have the Callaway plant, and they were going to develop the second plant, and that was never done. So they're extending the Callaway plant for a few more years. So I think there's a lot of opportunities in our industry.
There's a new modular design, smaller,
yes,
easier footprint to put in, easier to build,
yes,
and should be faster to build. It's just getting over that word nuclear and people kind of being afraid of it, because now that Microsoft that was bringing back one of the 3
Mile Islands. Yeah, and I'm not sure what happened there, but I think it may have gotten struck down.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but one of them, I think Microsoft was looking at one, and there was someone else's
bringing on the U.S.
Was bringing on another nuclear plant, and they were going to buy all the power for 20 years or something of that nature. So there's a lot of upheaval in the industry right now with new technologies. Hydrogen, hydrogen is something that people are looking at very strong. I just saw an article the other day that Coca-Cola is coming out with hydrogen run vending machines.
Really?
Hydrogen run vending machines. So there's no plugs in, nothing. It's run on a hydrogen module.
I don't know. I think it was France, just found a huge white hydrogen. They were just off of the coast. It's one of the islands they own, but they have a massive amount of white hydrogen, which is, it's all ready to go. You don't have to make it. It's there. And it should supply the world for 20 years or 30
It's amazing now.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing a lot of innovation in the industry right now. Our industry has been very stagnant for a number of years. We have a lot of, we're very, what's the word I'm looking for? Conservative. If it works, right?
Yeah.
But we're starting to see a lot of the new generation of the engineers looking for new technologies, looking for new ways of doing things.
Right.
And that really gives me hope for the future. We've been doing a lot of the same things forever and ever, right? So now we're starting to see a lot of innovation and new designs of products and new opportunities. So that's wonderful.
Talking about that, what does the future look like in terms of the challenges that they are? Because one of the challenges has been the adoption of new technologies, because the utility industry is you first.
Yes.
You do it, and then I'll do it, right?
Exactly.
What do you think the next 5 to 10 years look like in terms of the challenges that they're facing that they're not facing today?
Well, they're facing today, some labor shortages.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all labor engineers, it's getting worse, actually. And the people staying in the jobs for any length of time, they're jumping from job to job. So that's tough. I think the demands of the energy demand is going to be really hard for a lot of utilities. There hasn't been a whole lot of the innovation that I would say that should have taken place over the last 20 years. It was kind of a, like you said, me too kind of thing. So now they're being forced to innovate to keep up with the demand of the power. So I think the challenge is going to be is how they're going to take our grids and upgrade our grids to give stable power to the whole country. I think that's going to be a big challenge for them. There's going to be a lot of money invested, a lot of time, and then how to do it. They're talking about. I've seen some articles about cables that have different technology where you can almost have double or triple the amount of power going through the same size cable.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that they're going to have to figure out in the next few years to meet our demands.
One of our executive editors, who's somebody that does these interviews with us, he's also a customer.
Yes.
Is a gentleman named Ben Lance, and he formed or helped form PDI Squared, which is an organization focused just on, they started with underground.
Yes.
Now they're looking at it, but they're talking about the technology changes in cables, and everybody said, cables? Like, seriously?
Oh, yeah.
It's copper and it's the wire. Not anymore.
No, it's not. It's not. I had a person get a hold of me the other day that they've developed a nanotechnology for carbon fibers, and they feel that they can actually make electric cables out of these nano tubes.
Yeah.
And they want to talk to me about that opportunity. So they were explaining to me that it's not going to, the temperature is not an issue. It delivers 2 to 3 times more power through the same size cable. And here's new technology. I wasn't even thinking about nanotube technology from a carbon fiber side of things.
Yeah.
But here now, all of a sudden, this scientist somewhere develops this new product. And I think the rate of innovations that are happening in this country are skyrocketing.
Yeah.
I really do. You got some good ones, you got some bad ones. So the trick's going to be, I think, to figure out what are the good ones versus the bad ones.
And which ones are going to survive. I'm on the planning committee for the IEEE Grid Edge conference.
Yes.
And we had some of the venture capital. So it's a stage where we bring in people that are looking for venture capital. The innovations were just amazing.
Yeah.
But sadly, I looked at a lot of these companies and I thought, you're not going to be here, you're not going to be here, you're not going to be here. And it may be amazing, but it's not going to be adopted because what you did was proprietary.
Right.
And this industry is saying, we need interoperability. We can't just have you have your thing,
right,
and we're supposed to trust it. It's got to speak to all of our other things.
Yeah,
so there'll be a lot of people that don't make it at shows like this because they are trying to be too proprietary.
Yeah. You got to open up your doors a little bit to let people see what they can do with your product.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's talk about HJ.
Sure.
You know where things are going. Family, is it going to continue to be a family-owned business?
My son works in the business now as well.
Excellent. Does he like it?
He loves it. He's 23. He started like I did on the production floor. So he's a production specialist. He's here at the show with us. And he's been traveling with me since he was 16, 17 as well. I was traveling with my dad when I was 9, 10 years old.
Yeah,
visiting customers. So he's very much involved. So the game plan is to keep growing and keep offering solutions to customers. And my wife always said, when you go to a dinner party, and she said, if someone asks what you do, she says, you spend way too long explaining because we do a lot of stuff, right? So you got to come up with something better than this long explanation. So I say we're a solutions provider. Someone comes to us with a problem, we find a solution for it. We've been in this business, like I said, my grandfather was in it in the 40s. Yeah. So we've developed a lot of friendships and relationships based on trust and respect. So we have a lot of wonderful contacts that we could go and pretty much find a solution for any problem, or know who to go to that provides the solution. So we incorporated a lot of that into our new products and new designs. Our company has grown because we keep introducing new products, our refined or redesigned products that are already in the market, but they have a problem with. So I always tell my sales team when they go out and talk to the customers, ask them what problem they're having. You know, how can we help them? So it's worked out really well for us, and hopefully it will in the future.
Great sales is not how you present your product. Great sales is how you ask the right questions.
Exactly.
And then listen.
Exactly.
So if you were to, for people that don't know, that
Yes.
you say solutions, define an area. You're not going to build a substation for anybody.
We'll design one.
Okay.
A lot of my employees actually were ex-customers. So after they retired, they came to work with us. So I have engineers, design engineers that were they ran transformer facilities. They ran switchgear facilities. So we have this wonderful talent pool of, let's say, experienced individuals that have been in the industry forever that help us to go out to the customers and provide a solution. They have a transformer they need to design. We'll design transformers for people. We'll help design pieces of switchgear. We'll redesign bushings for them, componentry for them. So we have a very broad mix of products. I mean, everything from our castings and connectors, bushings, epoxy molded products, fusing, switches. We either manufacture the product ourselves, we design and have it contract manufactured, or we're a master distributor for a lot of existing companies.
Okay.
So we have an opportunity to go out and just find people solutions.
Right.
So
with that, I'm recruiting your people to write solutions articles.
Certainly.
Or technical.
certainly.
Because that's what we're trying to do as publications. We
Sure.
are transformer technology and power systems technology, is we're trying to see what problems are out there and find people that have addressed them. And they write, we just had one from a gentleman, the president of Powerside right around the corner there, wrote an article for this in February.
Oh, okay.
And it was a problem that we talked about last year. And I said, hey, that's a problem. Now write an article for me.
Sure.
2,200 words later. It's a brilliant article.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to write a good technical article, but that's what we do. That's what we publish. So
Wonderful.
I'm recruiting online.
I'll be glad.
Camera.
I'll be glad.
You heard it here first.
You heard it.
Good luck.
Well, thank
you for so much for meeting with us.
Yes.
We'll see you at your space so you can tell me a little bit
Sure.
about what HJ does.
Sounds good. Thank you.